You guys can hear me now. No, 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 where are my earphones? But if I do wear my earphones, then would you guys be able to hear me? Doesn't matter. I'm not really going to speak. I was talking to you like it was a video call, but it wasn't a video call. Ha ha. Today I'm studying M.N. Srinivas, Indian anthropology and the study of Indian culture. Pretty short article. It's like 2 pages. But then I will go to social change in modern India. Talk about secularization, Brahmanization, Sanskritization, uh, independence, kinship, some thoughts on the study of one's own society. Oh yeah, caste of course, because this is MNC. GS Kare, GS Kare also. Got ahead of myself and I forgot what I was reading. There's also on Living a Revolution, again by M.N. Srinivas. And this one, when we were reading, it was so lengthy. I just didn't understand what he was talking about. When he, oh my God, when he was talking about that initial building in independence India, I was making drawings in my notebook. Oh, in my textbook. Yeah, no clue what this is about. It's not that you got it. Jenny. No, it's not set yet. I just need it. You can have some tomorrow. some other day.
What's that?
One. Mm, my little brother distracts me so much, but it's okay. Cool. And after mentioning us in the course of anthropology, is the cause of anthropology thing in the cause of anthropology about Iravati Karve. I'm inspired Nandini Sabharwal. I'll do it someday. Well, technically it's today. I'm gonna finish this article first. I won't talk so that you can fall asleep. Why aren't you asleep at? Why are you sending me these strange emojis that I've never seen before? That are pink. Are you crying? I didn't need to make you cry. Oh no, stop crying. Whoa, this is such a cute emoji and very distracting. Anthropologists and the study of Indian study of the self knowledge. I'll move on to the next one, which is called Social Change in Modern India. This page is talking about Brahmin youth eating omelets. I love sociology. Mm, so are you.
Night, night, my dear.
Part 5 is about the structure of Hinduism, um, and how it's being like, part 5 is about the structure of Hinduism in the modern sense. So they talk about Hinduism and its conflict with the government. And on page 151, there is a part which talks about political parties such as the Hindu Mahasabha and the Jan Sangh, and cultural organizations such as the militant, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh become great agencies for perpetuation and reinterpretation of Hinduism. So Hinduism is now becoming increasingly dissociated from traditional and social structures of caste, kinship, and village community, and is becoming associated with the state, political parties, and organizations promoting Indian culture. Tradition in institutions such as monasteries, temples, cults of saints, bhajan groups, and pilgrimages have shown resilience and adaptability to new circumstances. Mass media such as films, radio, books, newspapers are also playing their part in carrying Hinduism. So basically, Hinduism is now a whole new structure, and they also talk about the Tirupati Mandir, which funds from it, like excessive funds, all the donations go towards universities and training. The role of the government is where the Constitution of India declares the India as a secular state and outlaw untouchability, changes in the Hindu personal law. There is banning of bigamy, which is having two wives. It is now punishable by law. Divorce and intercaste marriages are permitted. Widow remarriages are permitted. Widows and daughters have been given shares in ancestral immovable properties. So uh, daughters as well have now a share in the property of their parents, not just sons. And mm, they talk a little bit about bhajan groups, and I don't know how that is like important, so I won't talk about it. But it's on page 148 if you want to read it. For chapter 5, it's called Some Thoughts on the Study of One's Own Society. Part 1, he talks about three things. He also talks about the first article that I was talking about, that's 2 pages. So he, kind of gives his insight into anthropology, how it should be done. And again, he mentions Edward Leach, um, a review that Edward Leach wrote of uh, M.N. Srinivas's work, Caste in Modern India. So here he talks about the Hinduism, how Hinduism, all Indian Hinduism was synonymous with Sanskritic Hinduism, but food customs had undergone a process of Sanskritization over centuries. So how did how is food how food customs different from Sanskritized all India Hinduism culture customs? Then he realized that when he's talking as a Hindu Brahmin from South India to an Indian audience, he missed out a lot of clarification. And he was when he went to Oxford, there were people like R. Radcliffe Brown and I guess other white people who basically said that this is something that we don't know, but you do because you're a part of that culture. So you have to like expand on that. Otherwise, the universal reader isn't going to know what you are talking about at all. And he talks about more about his model of Sanskritization and how he derived it from Brahmins and Lingayats from Kurd. And that is because there are not many, he missed out the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas from this model because the Mysore region does not have many Kshatriya and Vaishya caste whose life is different from the Brahman and Lingayat. Um, so there, he mentions on page 158 what the other castes are, all of their names and stuff, and also dominant caste and social system. So when he talks about dominant caste, he's talking about the caste whose culture is dominant rather than a caste that is dominating. But that's not really true when we look at the social system of things. Although what he meant was the caste which has a dominant culture in the place. It was also read as Dumandre Pocock suggested that he transplanted the notion of dominance from the African to the Indian field. So dominance is not just what we know that M.N. Srinivas implies, but the dominance how we learned in Foucault, if you remember. After that, he talks about the backward classes movement and how he is a Brahmin South Indian person, and people in his close proximity talk about how there should not be reservations for backward classes and in turn other castes, like lower castes. Yeah, caste-centered comments of Brahmins often annoy the sensitive non-Brahmins. Um, the because of this movement, power was shifted to the people, and power was not hegemonized as much anymore. That's what M.N. Srinivas says in part 1. Part 2 talks about how people who study, anthropologists who study their own cultures are impacted, influenced by their own social position in that society. So they see society in a way like, if you remember the field habitus, Pierre Bourdieu's part on field habitus and practice, he talks about how all your environmental factors cause your habitus and your field and your practice. So, mm, So he talks about how Karl Marx spoke about the industrialism he saw around him, the capitalism he saw around him. So he is influenced by his social position, and also observation and problems that he selects to study are influenced by the same social position and the social context of each and every sociologist or anthropologist or ethnographer or philosopher, everything. So invalidity doesn't really exist in the sense that, well, you are a Brahmin person, so your view is not, it doesn't really, it's not the objective view because nothing's ever going to be objective. Nothing's not, his study is not invalid, his study is definitely biased, and everybody's study is biased. Next, he talks about intellectual history. Interest in intellectual history is again based on your awareness and or of your subjectivity. I didn't read this part. So purity and pollution, the concepts of purity and pollution are not scientific, but over time they have found their way into outside of Hindu culture, outside of Brahmin culture into the rest of Hinduism as well. Even castes that are not practicing um, rituals and need the ritual purity level. Part 3 of chapter 5 from page number 162 to page number 170 is about his methodology. So this I recommend you read. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. And he also mentions William F. White, who he studied, and he mentions about, he talks about Street Corner Society and his own work, his own like field work. So the countrywide, just like read this part because it's a little bit annoying. Okay, so the last bit is part 3 of chapter 5 from page number 162. Talks about Ahmed Srinivas's methodology, and he also talks about other methodologies that he took influence from, that he thought were good. He says that William F. White Street Corner Society is excellent for the observation of random whatever, I don't know what he says. But yeah, read this part from page 162 to the end, 170. It's just about his methodology, and he talks about being a part of society, the society that he's studying, the community that he's studying, versus being an outsider or an alien in that society. And then there's a little bit about solidarity and equilibrium. So structural functionalists always love to talk about equilibrium and how, who was that Parsons? I don't know, I hate them all. Um, English social anthropologists have tended to borrow from the primary concepts from Durkheim rather than Pareto or Max Weber. Consequently, they are greatly prejudiced in favor of societies which show symptoms of functional integration, social solidarity, cultural uniformity, and regarded as moribund by historians or political scientists are commonly looked upon by social anthropologists as healthy, ideally fortunate. Societies which display symptoms of faction, internal conflict, leading to rapid change are, on the other hand, suspected of anomie and pathological decay. So, again, structural functionalism. Revolution is necessary. Study of one's own society. Yeah, you have to keep in mind all of these things that are like why somebody who thinks equilibrium is necessary thinks that equilibrium is necessary in society, and why Social change is something that is suspected of enemy and pathological decay or dysfunction of society. To reputation on living, on living in a revolution and other essays. I have to go to the gym in the morning. Well, not in the morning, I'll go around 11 or something. Wow, these emoticons are so cute. I hope that the only person watching this live is asleep now. But I'm done with a little bit of Aman Srinivas that I was supposed to do. I think I read really fast today. I think I was motivated to read fast so that I could send voice notes before I forget what I was talking about. But it helps that having read The Codes of Mysore, I don't remember the name of the work, but Social Change in Modern India, yet it only two parts, two chapters, just chapter 4 and 5. It was kind of, I think, the pretext of On Living Under a Revolution and other essays. We are supposed to do the introduction part and On Living in a Revolution, which is part 1. And we have Nation Building in Independent India. And then we have caste, the caste system and its future. Wait, is this? I got scared. Okay, there's one about science, technology, rural development, and social significance of religion. That's it. So we have, let me check the index content we should do on living in a revolution, nation building, caste system, science and technology, okay. And nation building and science and technology are the ones that have higher big chances of questions coming from that one. But It doesn't list the future of caste over here. Oh wait, there's a significance of religion as well. Okay. Oh, okay. Caste misuse is the third one, which was not marked as an important one. This is a really big reading. We have, I'm not going to read it entirely, but Emmett Srinivas's work I enjoy reading even in the previous semesters. It's so much better. It's easier than reading Hooray when it's easier to read people's views when they are the same as yours or very similar to yours, at least leaning towards the same side politically. Just more digestible, I guess. Or if you're reading other works, you like hate reading it and criticizing every bit, and that takes a lot of effort. So you can't do like a passive read. Oh, I did do a passive read of this book about. I hated it in the beginning. What was it called? I think it was called The Thornbirds. And once I finished the book, it took me like a year to finish reading that book. But once I was done, because it was just such a horrible book, you don't want to pick it up. You just want to like bury it or burn it or something. But once I was done reading, I realized that this contributed absolutely nothing to my life except for maybe a little check of I don't know if I should call it perseverance or procrastination because it took me a year to read that book. I could have, if I read one page a day, I would have. I don't know how many pages that book had. It was just bad. I have no right to be a literary critic, but the language of the book was not as much of concern to me as than the things they were talking about. It started off as something. It started off as maybe a commentary on poverty or discrimination, maybe so. It might have piqued somebody's interest, and I did read the first bit quite fast. But after you move on to the life where they have more money. Of course, it's going to have spoilers. Nobody's going to read that book anyways. It doesn't matter. When once they earned money, they just became like horrible people. But they weren't doing horrible things. Just they were, in the same circles as people who were exploiting. They themselves didn't have many means and much capital, so I wouldn't put them in the bourgeois group. But they were in the same circle, the same social circle, the same economic circle as well. They didn't earn it; they inherited it out of their like aunt dying or something. But at the end of the book, this is about a woman who is like untamable and like the worst woman on this planet. Nobody likes her. She's not even womanly, and everything she wears makes her look ugly. She is married to something. That is how the book ends. Like her getting married, her being in love. She was in love. You see her portrayal in love, and she's miserable in love. Like this Rainer guy is not good for her. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Who knows? But his character is a member of the bureaucracy. Is a member of a German bureaucracy. I think I'm not sure. There's just so much in that book. It's like all of Europe is just one tiny city, and you just hang out with your friends in a country, and then you go back to your work the next day on your private jet or whatever. So this is set back in a long time ago, and misogyny is pretty normal. So I wouldn't put it against the author to try to make it historically accurate, but at a point it seemed like trauma porn. This person will go through the worst things possible. Um, and for a long time, it started with Maggie. And Maggie's life, the entirety of it, was just her as a character who was being tortured. The plot for her, it was just torture. Maggie. Yeah, Maggie. Um, and Maggie's daughter. There was a lot of women as perpetrators of violence. Not violence, but just mm, perpetuating the patriarchy. So making sure everything's in place, kind of thing going on. Fee's character was someone I started off I did not like her character. She was portrayed as somebody who's stoic, so you don't feel much sympathy for her after they become rich. Towards the end, I started really liking her. Towards the end, when the women talk to each other, being vulnerable and not in a form of competition. I think my boyfriend is sleeping. I'm disturbing him. Orange fish. Cute. Yeah, bad book. I've got to get back to studying now. Do you guys want to watch me study or should I study by myself? I haven't been showing my credit arms. I don't train my arms. So so it's really shameful. It's barely anything here. But I haven't been like flexing my muscles or anything at all lately. It's happened to me. I'm a different person. Mhm. It's back day today. I think I told you that. One guy, my boyfriend, who is watching this. As for the elementary universe part, I'll do later. I think I'm not prepared for this at all, but to get my mind off that, I'm gonna do the next little bit of preparation for the next paper. Okay, how about I give this computer screen a little like rundown of the things that I remember so that I can just like that is not articulate of me. Um, just for a revision, quick revision. Iravati Karve talks about kinship and caste. I don't remember where her study was, but I think it was like India, and she divided India into four parts: the north, the south, east, and the west. And after that, she compared the structural stuff. Let's just come to Leela Dubé because I like her more, and I also read her work very carefully. The first the first work of Dubé is I think a critique to Andre Bete's something about class, power, and caste. Class, caste, and power. No, something like that. I don't know. But it's like a little review or a article about what she thinks about class, caste, and power by Andre Bete. But when we come to her original work, she talks about a sort of feministic point of view from towards the caste system. So she talks about intersectionality, especially, and I'm so distracted. She talks about intersectionality and Muslim matrilineal society in the Lakshadweep Islands of Langkawi, and she speaks about patriarchy and who it benefits. Um, that's all I can remember for now. And this GS Gure, I don't like him, so I'm not going to study this for the exam. If there's a question about him, I can just skip because I'm doing all of the rest. Oh, I'm not doing LLM either. DP Mukherjee, quite interesting man. Maybe he's interesting to me just because he's Bengali. That's not true. Do you guys remember Sudipta Kaviraj? I think he was Bengali too, but I hated him. Anyways, how would you remember him if you're not a sociology student? And the only person watching it is my boyfriend who is not a sociology student. Constant blabbering in his ear. He must really miss me after listening to me blabber in his ear. D.P. Mukherjee, his work was on nationalism and also on the middle class that newly emerged in India. So these were people who were not. I think it's different from the middle class in the West because Indian middle class is the educated elite in a form. Middle class has its the cream of the middle class is the elite, which in the concept of hegemony, Antonio Gramsci, that they are the ones who follow the high upper class and then emulate their behavior within their own economic availabilities, and then other people, the rest of the middle class, which is big big chunk of the population, follow emulate what the top elite class is doing. I think Mukherjee wrote a lot more, and it's not about the middle class at all. Mm, Cost of religion. Who's that? Element. Ready, element. It's all good. More barrier. Alvin. DP Mukherjee. Middle class in India. 5-year plan. I really need to read this. This is by Dalia Chakrabarti. Diversities. This is the work I was supposed to read today, but instead I mentioned it was some Indian culture. The reason of Indian philosophers. I'm just trying to read the annotations I have on the corners to remember what this may have been about when I first read it. Holistic personality, Tagore. Separation from social and political context, taking individual out of the environment. That's like laboratory setting. Vacuum against us, and against community on a material basis. Western influence on Indian culture. So I'm just going to skim for now because I don't have the capacity to read it well and like digest it, comprehend it. So thirsty. I'm gonna get water. Be right back. Water. It's a study break. It's a study break. It's a study break. I don't want to study anymore, but I must because I didn't do much today. I was just loitering and sleeping. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should keep studying even though I know nothing's gonna go inside my brain, or should I do like a little bit of passive consumption of some of the syllabus parts that I know will be available on the internet, like listen to a YouTube video talking about something like about the Indian middle class or about Chakraborty. Chakraborty is the another author for Indian middle class, right? Yes, Talia Chakraborty. I'm done with MN Srinivas pretty much. I'll try to attempt a few answers tomorrow. Mhm. Health and medicine is such a beautiful syllabus this semester. Um, I just found it troubling at there's just so much to study that the content is not content. And not everything's content. The syllabus is just vast and we talk about so many things and this is the first time we do something like this, so it's not like thinkers or uh, research methods, we repetitively do over the years. This one, very interesting. I think all of the sociology syllabus that my batch has had is incredible, except for maybe two. I did not like ethnographic filmmaking at all, and the kinship paper was also not my favorite. But other than that, economic sociology was probably my favorite. And then we had the gender paper, beautiful as a queer person, when you see so much representation in the syllabus, you're like, wow, this is so good. My project is going to get it done this semester. It didn't get it done, but I was still satisfied because I put in a lot of effort, and I think I got to represent my community, which I'm really happy about. I'm still like quite proud of that. I don't have a, I don't know, I don't have a digital, you know, version of it because I never made a digital version of it. But I did get to do a lot of research, and that's always good. It's good to know. No, it's not. Ignorance is bliss. It's not good to know. Most of the time, it's not good to know at all. But still, whatever. Um, yeah, gender paper was great. The economic sociology, yeah, that paper was great. Then the political sociology paper, we did a lot of Max Weber, and when we did religion, uh, I read Durkheim's part, and I was so in awe of the stuff he wrote. I don't like Durkheim. His When you read stuff, you're like, wow, you are just wrong. I felt like that with Durkheim, but he seems like such a lovely Jewish man that you just be like, oh, it's okay if you're not right, but I really appreciate your work and I will tell everybody else about it because I see you as a friend and I think you put a lot of effort into your work. Durkheim was so strange, such a strange. I haven't read all of his work, so I definitely don't know most of what he's talking about. But I think only division of labor and then solidarity and then suicide, a part of suicide I've read, and then read a part of elementary forms of religious life. I think that's what it's called. But he talks about the Australian abortion. Wow, the thing seems so repetitive when he's talking about the negative cult, the positive cult. I am dehydrated from talking. Yeah, it's just water. It's not the thing that it's supposed to be. It's just water. And yeah, when we did Weber's authority, Weber's bureaucracy. Look, when you like study Karl Marx, your life is so hopeful. When you study Karl Marx for the first time, I miss that. I wish I could do it again. I tried to. I found my copy of the manifesto of the Communist Party. Not a copy of the book. It's just a print of part of the book. But Marshall Sahlins, then you read Affluent Society and you read about The Gift, Marcel Mauss. Beautiful. I mean, I think it's beautiful. I don't know if it is beautiful. My boyfriend's gone. I'm just talking to like my Peter, which is okay. I love my Peter. I feel like I feel like I'm intoxicated or under the influence or something because I'm rambling so much to myself. It's, what is it? Yeah, sociology of health and medicine. If we had this paper with like less syllabus and earlier, maybe in fourth semester. Oh, it's a DSC. That's why. That's why. That's why. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed reading all of this. I can't believe I've read all of it. I never read the whole binder ever. This is the first time I've ever read this page by page. Wow. But when you're too passionate about something, you just keep writing about it on the exam, and then you don't have enough time left to do the last few questions. That that's a bane. So you can't get too passionate when it's about marks. Wait, not Karl Marx, but you should get passionate about marks, in my opinion. But when you're writing for like his academic validation, doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Did I tell you guys about my new Tumblr account, which is it's like about philosophy or something. I don't know. I just watched The Good Place, and now I think I'm a philosopher. But I've been into Stoicism for a while now, and I think I'm parting ways with it. I think I'm getting nihilistic. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it's just a speculation. But that's not how I want to live my life. I want some symbolic. I want things to be simple. Like I want things to be meaningful. I want now myself to be able to make meaning and make happiness, and also kind of that existentialism that people go through. I thought I had that. I thought I was going through a crisis of identity. I didn't know who I was because I stopped doing a lot of things that I did, and I took on new habits, and I didn't know who I was, and that was bothering me so much. But is it really necessary for me to know who I am? Do you have to only do things that are necessary? I guess it would very well to know about you. Yeah, I should go. I should go to sleep. I'll see you later today when I study. And good night to my boyfriend.